Once in a while, Plarium puts something in the game that I don't think they realize how powerful it is. And I know that you already know about this, or you should. But if you don't, this one thing is going to unlock a lot of content for a lot of players. So let me share the Ice Golem side of that today. Let's jump right in. What's up, guys? MtgJedi here. How you doing today? I am really excited because I've been working on this idea in the back of my mind for a while, and I got to test it a little bit this morning, and it seems great. I know that Ice Golem is not everybody's favorite dungeon. It never has been, never will be, because of the RNG involved with just like outright killing your team so often, right? You can't just go deal damage to it. You have to be tricky about how you damage it. And especially with the hard side, I feel like a lot of players are still not doing this. I get requests for takeovers and I get asked about teams and whatnot. And the thing that I almost always say is just, do you have Artak? Because he was a free champion. But like, that's not gonna cut it anymore because now it's been a while since Artak was a free champion. What, like 2 years or something crazy? And we need other options. But I got you today because the other option I found is also a free champion, and this is a champion that everyone can get. Now, the reason that I thought of this is because we have this normal regen setup, right? And in case you want the stats on the Artak, these are my Artak stats. They're not the best, but it's basically 100%. I've never seen it fail. So on the Artak, he can solo the boss, and then I run a team around it with like Seer and stuff, which you'll see in a minute, but the team around it literally doesn't matter. As long as you make it to the boss, Artak solos it. And that's great. A lot of people should be using this team, but that's not what I'm talking about today. This is a new strategy as far as I know. Nobody online has shown this. Obviously call me out if I'm wrong, and we can link other people's videos if they have done this before. But there's one key thing that makes this new strategy work. If you've seen any of my videos for the event dungeon, you know that Euros and Harima, Ultimate Death Knight, Loki, they can all beat the event dungeon thanks to this golden elixir relic. So if you have the golden elixir relic, now you can use that to beat the Hard Ice Golem. And that's so cool. This is a new strategy that we would not otherwise have. And I was going to just put Euros in there, but remember, the Hard Ice Golem is immune to poisons, so that will not work. But there's a champion who is similar to Euros, but for HP burn. Can you guess who that is? Put it in the comments below. For those of you who already guessed it, the champion we're talking about today is Draxthar Blood Twin. This is a free champion that you can get from the clan shop, right? The clan shop. And he is going to have the golden elixir. All right. Now he's going to be in regen and immortal. We'll look at his gear in a second. I didn't put gemstones in here. I didn't want that to sway your ability to do this or not. It could only help. And I didn't level it up past level 9 because once you get past level 9, it starts getting much harder. Also, I don't have masteries on him, and I did all of that to kind of make up for the fact that he has a 6-star blessing. Like, I can't help that he's a 6-star blessing and +1. But I will show you his stats, and then we can take a look. I think that these are the minimum stats. This is what I would shoot for. If you don't think you can get this, still try to do this build. If you can't do Ice Golem Hard 10, you should be able to do one of the previous stages with this concept. Now, this is pretty endgame gear, okay? But all I did was switch the gear. I just left the accessories that he already had on, with the exception of the resistance banner. More resistance on him would definitely help. Like if we take a look at Artek's build here, we have like 515 resistance. On Drexstar, we're nowhere close to that. We're at 357. And so, like, the more resistance you can get on him, the better and more consistent it will be. Okay? But I bet you're waiting to know what the team is. But first, let me show you the total stats. 221 speed. I don't think his speed is important. He could be slower than that if you need to, because his passive is very reactive, as you're going to see in the run. What makes him so good is that when he's hit, he has a chance to place HP burn. So this is how we damage the Hard Ice Golem, and that's perfect for what we're looking for. I put Brimstone on him. I'm not sure he needs any blessing, other than the fact that the blessing makes him be survivable. Okay, so let's jump in over in Hard Ice Golem and see the team. But what you need to know right before this, as a reminder, the team does not matter, okay? I have a Seer team with Ghostborn and Kymar, and then I run a food champion. We're going to load up our breakfast, okay? We're going to load up our breakfast bacon and and run some food. Anyway, Drexstar, obviously the most important part here. The rest of the team can be whoever you want. Like, for example, if you have like a terrace that you want to use as a damage dealer, or maybe you want to run Michinaki in Ghost. I mean, it just doesn't matter. You know, whoever you want to put in the team to control and defeat the waves, totally fine. This setup is really nice. Let me just show you what we're working with here. On the Seer, we have 339 crit damage, and then Ghostborn just has to go before her. Kymar, I have going fast so that on wave 2, he can reset before Ghostborn goes, and then Ghostborn and Seer can quick clear the waves. So this is my normal team. I normally run Artek in this Drexstar spot, which does make it a little bit faster, but Drexstar, free champion that every player can use. And that makes it way better in my opinion. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into the run. We don't need the video to take forever here this morning. Today, I will be going to substitute teacher training. So, no stream from me today. And yes, it's as exciting as it sounds, okay? So, things to note here. When Drexstar is hit, he places the HP burn. Also, he can place the HP burn on his own, which is great because then he'll get the minions. And then sometimes he will get the Brimstone on the boss. Now, sometimes he'll get the Brimstone on the minions. That's not great. And that RNG is like what determines how fast the run is from what I've seen so far. Now, maybe somebody has figured this out before me and trying to keep the stats relatable. Okay, dang. All right, let's put the masteries on there, and then we should be good to go. I didn't want to cut that out just so that you can see with that level of resistance, that's not really going to cut it for us. Okay, so a couple things on the masteries, right? We're going to put the resistance one on here. We also want blast proof because that's going to decrease the AoE damage. And then this one, sniper here, very important. That's just going to increase the consistency of the HP burn. And I like Elixir of Life as the tier 6 mastery on these champions that we're trying to make very survivable. Also, some gearing tips. The protection set is going to give you 20 resistance for one piece. The supersonic set is going to give you 20 resistance for one piece. And then we can come in there and we can glyph it to give us even more. And just those two little changes are going to put us up at like 448, which is pretty reasonable. And then I think let's leave it like that and try it in here, okay? Now, I will tell you that I ran it before recording the video, and it was perfectly fine. But I did suspect that without the masteries and without the higher resistance, that would happen. And as it turns out, I was right, okay? But with the masteries, it should make it more consistent. But that build will work at somewhere to 80 to 90% consistency. So if you can only hit those numbers, perfectly fine. You know, you'll still, like I said, be able to run a lower level, probably hard 6, hard 7, hard 8, something like that. You find where it's consistent for you and run that until you can get better stats. One of the things that you're going to be looking for is a blessing on Drexstar. The 5-star blessing is perfect because that's where you get the accuracy and resistance. And you can also work on your Great Hall. Yes, your Great Hall, your affinity bonuses, your accuracy and resistance there. Accuracy being probably the most important still, and maybe resistance second most important? Probably not. I like crit damage and accuracy still for your Great Hall, but that could very, very much help. And with your, that's your affinity bonuses. If that's still not enough, you can put area bonuses for Ice Golem. I would recommend for this dungeon just going with whatever stats that you can't get, like accuracy or resistance. Ice Golem is pretty cheap, and you don't need more than the accuracy and resistance, maybe HP. But as you can see, that's my new fastest time. We were averaging around 2 minutes, and that's thanks to that sniper mastery and the more consistent build here. So if you're just sticking around waiting for the build till the end, you've skipped ahead, that's perfectly fine. We have the regen and immortal build, which is important. The relic is essential. I don't think you can do this without the relic. I have brimstone on here. I don't think the blessing is important. It's just going to speed it up. Here again are the masteries that we used. And then the total stats. Total stats like this. I don't think that in Ice Golem... Oh, I do have a little bit of resistance in Ice Golem. Okay, well, that's very nice. And speed, apparently. That must be for Artak helping him out there. Same thing, you know, that's kind of what I would recommend is that resistance stat for you as well. But full transparency, I didn't remember that I had that, okay? So, will you be using Drexstar to unlock Hard Ice Golem for yourself? And if you have less stats, like if your gear's not, you know, fully ascended and like this level of gear, then you should still be able to do the earlier stages. I think that this strategy can unlock hard mode Ice Golem for you. So let me know if this helps you out in the comments below. Of course, if you appreciate this content, hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.